Now let's hear from Michael Fanning with a story regarding Sergeant William Bill Borderlon.
Bill Borderlon went to school at Central Catholic High School, was one of the ROTC stars, so to speak.
Borderlon excelled in the classroom, earning medals for scholarships and a consistent place on the honor roll. He also received a religious medal and joined a group of students that met to pray and discuss ways to apply their Catholic faith to everyday life. When news came of the Japanese surprise attack at Pearl Harbor, Bill wasted no time answering his nation's call. He enlisted in the Marine Corps and sailed into the Pacific. Soon he arrived off the enemy-held Tarawa Island on D-Day, November 20th, 1943.
When they got out of their Higgins craft, and it was a bad morning because of the fact the tide wasn't right, but they made it to the beach, and all of his comrades had been mortally wounded. Bill Borderlon continued on. He had wounded on the left side, the right side, and he ended up taking out a pillbox.
Borderlon would eventually single-handedly take out 4 Japanese machine gun positions.
And then he lost his life and had those heroic deeds which led to the Medal of Honor. And he was the first Texan to be given that award in World War II.
Staff Sergeant Borderlon was buried on the island where he fell. He later was moved to the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific in Hawaii. But the Borderlon family had a dream to bring Bill home to be laid to rest in his home state.
The first time I heard the name Bill Borderlon was from my dad, Buckner Fanning. It was back in 1995 when he got involved in trying to help bring his remains back to Texas. Dad was a Marine in World War II. This is a picture that we have of Dad when he was in the Pacific as a Marine in his early 20s. I think Dad was intrigued about Bill Borderlon from his Marine connection, from his San Antonio connection, and just from the fact that Bill Borderlon was a true hero, San Antonian. And so Dad goes, sure, I'd be happy to help. He then called Dick Tips and said, hey, I hear you know something about bringing remains back from overseas. Would you help?
Well, I was fortunate enough to get a phone call from Buckner Fanning, and he's asked me about being able to move Bill Borderlon from where he was buried in the Punch Bowl in Hawaii, and that he and his family would like to bring them back to San Antonio.
I do know that they met with Mayor Thornton at that time, the Chamber of Commerce. They even went to Austin to meet with the governor.
To get Bill Borderlon relocated was a feat in itself, and we worked our way through that, a little bit of red tape, to bring him home to San Antonio.
And by the end of 1995, Bill Borderlon's remains were brought back to San Antonio to Fort Sam Houston.
To honor the courageous deeds of Sergeant Bill Borderlon, efforts began to bring his remains to lie in state inside the Alamo. But in its entire history, only 4 people before Borderlon have been afforded that privilege.
We had to work through all that with the Daughters of the American Revolution, and they worked with us, and they understood the value of this true hero, the very last man to ever lie in state at the Alamo. And to Bill Borderlon and the entire Borderlon family, all we can say is thank you for your courage and thank you for your service.
I think we owe Dick a great debt of gratitude. I don't think Bill Borderlon would be in San Antonio were it not for Dick Tipp's generosity in bringing his body and his remains back to San Antonio. And so thanks, Dick. We really, really appreciate it. And I speak not only for me, but for all of San Antonio.
At Mission Park and Mission Park Cares, we'd like to bring you more programming each and every week.
Yes, just subscribe here or catch us every Sunday morning on Fox 29.
And remember, at Mission Park, it's our mission to care.